Greetings, everyone. Well, it's closer look time again on the Multimedia Chronicles, and Biff Bam Zowie, we're going to check out the 60s Batman series on Blu-ray. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering why I got this version of the complete series instead of this version, the big collector's edition with all the pack-in goodies, well, a couple of reasons. First off, I just didn't have the money to spare at the time when it came out. And second off, I heard that some of the discs in the collector's edition actually had a few minor flaws. Now, I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers did offer disc replacements for those. It wasn't anything huge. It was just there was a couple episodes where there was like the epilogue was missing and a couple of other minor issues. Subsequent re-releases of the set, such as the non-collector's edition, regular edition of the complete series that I have the corrected discs. But those were the main reasons at the time. Basically, just lack of money and didn't want to mess around having to get replacement discs. But you know what? Rather than just take a look at this one set, why don't we expand our horizons a little bit and take a look not just at the 60s Batman series, but at all of Adam West as Batman. Well, all that I have, anyway. Alright, it's Adam West Batman, today on A Closer Look on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. Now, I'm sure I'm not alone when I say, growing up, Adam West was my Batman. Yeah, I would come home from school every day and enjoy a double feature, starting at 4:30 p.m. of Batman, followed by Get Smart. Now, Get Smart would come on at 5 o'clock, and being, 6 years old at the time? To me, Get Smart was like the grown-up show that I would watch, because it was on so late, at 5 o'clock. But coming home from school every day, the first thing I would look forward to watching was Batman. And sometimes I would even come home singing the Batman theme as I walked up to the door. I remember my mom telling me one day she heard me singing the theme as I was coming up to the door, and she felt really bad having to tell me that apparently it wasn't on that day. But it's funny, you watch the 60s series now as an adult, and you just kind of enjoy it in a whole different way from how you would have enjoyed it as a kid. Now, as a kid, everything in this is totally serious, man. There's no cheesiness whatsoever. The perils that they're in are completely plausible, and the way Batman gets out of them by just happening to have the thing he needs in his utility belt that day, it makes perfect logical sense, and you don't think twice about it when you're a kid. It's all deadly serious stuff, man, and you're like, oh, yeah, of course he has that mini blowtorch in his utility belt that is exactly the right temperature to cut through the chains that he's tied up with. Of course he does. I mean, why wouldn't he? He would just know that that's likely the trap he would be put into, and he would prepare for that. But of course, as an adult, you see it for the ridiculousness that it is, and the cheesiness and the silliness and stuff, and the very tongue-in-cheekness. But you enjoy it in a whole different way. And that's the beauty of this show, and I think one of the many reasons why it's endured and is still so beloved. I mean, obviously now we mostly have the dark Batman from the majority of the comics. The 60s series was more kind of based on the Silver Age Batman, where, quite frankly, the comics got quite silly for a couple of decades, and it kind of draws a lot on that. But you know, the earlier ones from the 30s and 40s and the later ones from the 70s up till now were very much the Dark Knight. They were the dark, serious, brooding Batman. So it's interesting that we have this sort of little snapshot of that era of Batman in live action, no less, to kind of represent that era in in a way that is accessible to everybody. I mean, everybody knows this show. Everybody watched it at some point. And I think everybody loves it in some way. Even if, like me, you lean more towards the serious Batman, I'll always have a soft spot for the Adam West version because it's just so much fun. And, you know, it was never meant to be taken seriously. It was always meant to be very lighthearted and fun and silly and, you know, almost, I see it sometimes listed as a comedy. I don't know that I would call it a straight up comedy, maybe a bit of a farce, but, you know, it's silly, but it's at the same time quite true to the comics of the time. You know, I mean, everybody thinks of the dark Batman, thinks it's always been like that, but it wasn't. Like, I mean, if you look at the comics from the 50s and 60s, they got really silly sometimes. And the TV series very much honors that. So, of course, Adam West returned to the role of Batman many times over the years. As you can see, this is the majority of them. So let's head on down to the black box, and we'll take a closer look at all the ones I have of Adam West as Batman. Okay, so here we go. Biff, bam, pow! Batman, the complete television series, the non-limited edition. This is the one you should still be able to get fairly easily. The limited edition is long out of print, but if we take a look here, we got that on the spine there, and then on the back we got pow! I'm pretty sure there was a backing here. I've looked everywhere, I can't find it. So I don't know where it went. I do apologize. I'm usually quite good with keeping those. I actually have a box that I keep all the backings in, but I looked in the box. It's not there, so let's slide it out here. So very sturdy box here, and let's take a look. So first up, we have the Season 1 collection. So we got the Penguin there. We'll just zoom in a little bit. So yeah, the Penguin, played by the always wonderful Burgess Meredith. And then on the back, of course, the Riddler, played by the delightfully manic Frank Gorshin. Always a lot of fun. So here we go. Oh, and then we have Charles Napier as Alfred. And we have disc 1, I think. I don't know, do we have... I think we just have some quote-unquote sound effects underneath. Yes, ouch, wham. This was such a great show. And of course, when you watch this show as a kid, you don't see the quote-unquote campiness of it. You just see it as Batman having some awesome adventures. Bonk, swish. Yeah, I mean, we waited a very long time. Oh, thwack, zock. We waited a very long time for this to come out on home video, but of course it's quite well documented what a rights entanglement it was to make it happen. All right, so next up we have the Season 2 set. Of course, the always delectable Julie Newmar as Catwoman. And then on the back here we have King Tut. I do apologize, I forget the name of the actor who portrays him. And then here, of course, we have Vincent Price as Egghead. And somebody whose name I don't remember as Mr. Freeze. So there you go. So take a look here. So Season 2 was a lot lengthier. And I think this is all the same. No, it's actually different sound effects underneath, so we'll have to take a look. So we have oof, thunk. I love it. So I was saying, yeah, of course, when you're a kid, this is all deadly serious stuff. And, you know, the clever ways that Batman gets out of the various traps make perfect logical sense to a 5-year-old's brain. It's like, oh, of course, he had that thing in his utility belt with him. How clever. Splat. There we go. Hold on a second. Just going to make sure. Yeah, this goes underneath. And then it goes on top. Okay. And then over here. Oh, yeah, we got a lot more discs for Season 2 here. Yeah. So I thought what we'll do here is we're going to actually do the full sort of Adam West as Batman collection that I have. And take a look at what I don't have as well. What is it? Zonk. Powie. Love it. Love it. Yeah, I'm going to put that there. Put that there. There we go. And then finally, last but not least, crack. Arg. Yes. And they say great literature is dead. So there we go. So that's season 2. And then finally we have season 3. Season 3, they kind of changed the format up a little bit. It wasn't as much two-parters. It was more standalone stories. So here, of course, we have Cesar Romero as the disguisingly mustachioed Joker. Wonderful, wonderful actor, wonderful performance. And here we have, I don't know who these two are. Yeah, I don't know who they are. Anyway, got these two guys. And then, of course, Yvonne Craig as Batgirl. Very nice. This was the season that introduced Batgirl. So we got 4 discs. So there's 120 episodes total, and this has all of them. Biff! Crash! I love it. Yeah, as soon as I got this set in the mail, I basically powered through the first disc almost immediately. And boy, a lot of happy childhood memories coming back. And I gotta say, like, these Blu-rays look amazing. Like, I've never seen the show look this good before. Crunch! Zap! Love the cheese, man. Love the cheese. So it's kind of one of those strange things where it's like, as a kid, and then this is all special features on this disc here. We got Zwap! Aye! Because as a kid, this is all deadly serious stuff, and you take it all seriously. And then as an adult, you kind of drift away from it for a while. It's like, oh, that's just cheesy. I just want the dark Batman. But then, as a later adult, you're like, you know, I really miss the old show and love it. So it's just kind of the eternal dichotomy of 60s Batman. Like, is it just harmless, cheesy fun, or is it an insult to the legacy of Batman? Well, it's far from an insult. Have you read the comics from the 50s and 60s? This actually fits right in. Episode guide, here we go. So we got this beautiful booklet with it. So we don't get all the pack-in goodies that were in the limited edition, but we do get this really nice booklet that gives us a very good breakdown. There we go. So we actually have a message from Adam West. So I'm so glad that they managed to get his involvement with this set shortly before he passed away. But I remember there was actually a thing that he and Burt Ward did, Return to the Batcave, I think it was. And basically it was they did kind of a bunch of reminiscences and documentaries and interviews and stuff. Because they were both waiting to see if the show would ever make it to DVD so they could participate in the extras. But it seemed like it was never going to happen, so they basically did sort of their own extras, if you will. Sadly, that DVD is long out of print, and I do not have it. I would really love to get it, but that, you know, unless it gets re-released, I don't know how likely that's going to be. But yeah, so very nice, you know, breakdown of each episode, and lots of color pictures throughout. So, of course, Batman was in color, as they remind you at the beginning of every episode. You have to understand, 1966, color was still kind of a thing that was just starting to happen. Oh, look, a pink Batman. Very nice. So it was kind of a big deal. I mean, this was one of those shows that would help to sell color TV sets. This and Bonanza, I think, are the two big color shows from that era. But there you go in season 3. Was it Tweedledee and Tweedledum? I don't know. I don't recall seeing... Oh, wait a minute. I'm an idiot. That's Commissioner Gordon and Sergeant O'Hara. Or Chief O'Hara. I didn't recognize them because their disguises were so clever. That's, yeah. So, let's see. What do we got for bonus features here? Holy Memorabilia Batman featurette. Hanging with Batman, A Slice of Life with Adam West. Batmania Born, Building the World of Batman. Bats of the Round Table featurette. Inventing Batman in the words of Adam West. Nana Nana Batman. It was basically just a who's who of, what is it, film and television industry to provide fond memories regarding Batman and the television series. A few even agreed to sing the theme song. And Bat Rarities straight from the vault. I don't know if there's commentaries on this. I don't see anything about commentaries, but there might be a few kicking around on there. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't say in the booklet here. But, yeah, I don't see any mention of commentaries here. So maybe there isn't. But that's okay. I mean, they got lots of stuff on the bonus disc. I'm just going to look at that picture on Season 3 again. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's it's Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara in disguise, I guess. Or on vacation. I don't know. I haven't got up to those episodes yet. And it's literally been probably 30 plus years since I've actually seen them. So do forgive me if my memory's a little hazy. So I'm just going to put everything back in the box here. There we go. Very nice. So yeah, this is a fantastic set, and I am definitely enjoying going through it. So, okay, so popular was the Batman TV series that it is one of the few examples in which it actually got a feature-length film. Yes, a theatrical film while the show was still airing. It was massive. This thing just took off like nobody's business, and was a massive hit to the point where they got their own big budget movie. Well, moderate budget movie. Slightly bigger budget than the TV series anyway. There we go. Was just adjusting the focus a little bit. So yeah, so this is a very nice little addition. A lot of special features. For the longest time, this was all we had on home video that had anything to do with the series. For whatever reason, the movie was fine as far as rights went. So we'll just spin this around here. But the TV show was in rights limbo for a very long time. And there we go. You can see kind of how old this Blu-ray release is, too, just by the other things being advertised. Yeah, and talking about needing firmware updates for your Blu-ray player. That's something you don't see anymore. But, yeah, so that was all we had of the Batman animated, or the Batman 60 series for the longest time. So the series ended, time passed, but it, of course, lived on in repeats, and many generations continued to enjoy the show long past its original airings, myself included. And in 1977, Filmation, who had done a Batman animated series back in 1968, which would have been around the time that the show was still airing, actually managed to secure the talents of Adam West and Burt Ward to reprise their roles as the Caped Crusaders in the New Adventures of Batman. Yes, a 16-episode animated series from 1977 featuring at that point in time, the first time the two had stepped into the roles of Batman and Robin again officially since the end of the series. And there you go. Pretty cool stuff. So this is basically just a very nice 2-disc set. There's a couple different ways you can get this. It's available on its own like this. It's also available in a double feature DVD with the New Adventures of Superman, which is a 1967 series that Filmation did. But there you go. Very nice. So a good fun Batman series starring the dynamic duo themselves. Then a couple years later, 1979, around the time that Super Friends was making a lot of fans of the DC pantheon of superheroes, they did this pair of live-action specials called Legends of the Superheroes. Ultra low budget, all shot on video, cheesy as hell, but notable in that it was the first time Adam West and Burt Ward had stepped into costume in live action again since the series, and also featured the return of Frank Gorshin as the Riddler. So it was kind of a mini Batman reunion of a sort. And then you had all these other heroes and villains that, of course, kids at the time would have known from the Super Friends show. And there was a few other villains that were just invented for this particular special that never appeared in any of the comics. So there was one called The Challenge, which is basically the superheroes dealing with, the bad guys trying to take over the world. And then there was The Roast, which was basically done like a celebrity roast, but a celebrity roast of superheroes, hosted by Ed McMahon, no less. This thing is so cheesy and ridiculous and so much a product of its time. You would never see anything like this now. But it's fun and it's notable in a little piece of history. And I have the disc in my computer because I was watching it. Just give me a second here. Now, this is from Warner Archive, so it's actually a DVD-R. But it's nice to have it on home video in some form. And believe it or not, this does have some extras on it. They actually found, I guess, some of the original footage, and they have 8 minutes or so of outtakes and deleted scenes on it. So that's kind of cool. So, yeah, it's kind of fun. You do see the Batmobile, the 60s Batmobile back in action. So, yeah, as a bit of cheesy nostalgia, it's fun. I remember seeing a bit of this when it was originally on, and I wanted to watch it, but I think I missed a chunk of it, and I didn't see all of it. But I was like, what? Superheroes in live action? Because that was really rare back in 1979, especially on TV, to see superheroes in live action. And you had stuff like Shazam and I guess the old Superman show and whatnot, but there really was not anywhere near, and Wonder Woman, of course. There was nowhere near the amount of stuff that you get nowadays. So, zip ahead another 4 years. In 1984, we had Super Friends, the legendary Superpowers show. Now, I remember they had a whole line of action figures that tied into this as well. They were actually pretty cool. But this was notable because, once again, it featured the long-awaited return of Adam West and Burt Ward to voice Batman and Robin. So, very cool. Very cool indeed to have them back as the dynamic duo again. And if we just take a look, just kind of slide out. It's like a digipack. And same artwork inside. And there we go. So we have, once again, 16 episodes. This one, though, I believe is by Hanna-Barbera. Oh, look at that. That's a nice action shot there. Very cool. And take these out. And there we go. So a lot of the classic heroes and villains back in action again. This was the second last Super Friends show. The final Super Friends show, which once again featured Adam West and Burt Ward, came out the following year in 1985. It's the one I don't have. Maybe I'll have it by the time you're seeing this video. I don't know. But this is the last one I need, is the Superpowers Galactic Guardians. So, Superpowers team, rather. So, yeah, one of these days. I didn't realize that Adam West was in that one as well. Otherwise, I would have picked it up a while ago when I picked up some of this other stuff. But yeah, and that was actually the last appearance of Adam West as Batman until a couple of years ago when we got Batman, the Return of the Caped Crusaders. Pow! There we go. Just zooming in a little bit. So this, of course, is just the Steelbook edition. It was available in a regular edition as well. But this was a pretty big deal when it came out because it meant we actually got a new 60s Batman adventure with the guys themselves, you know, in animated form, obviously, because they're not as spry as they were back in the 60s. But yeah, so we got a brand new adventure with Batman and Robin in the delightfully campy style of the 60s series. I'm just going to pop these out here and we'll try to pop them out. Hold on a second. Wow, that's great. Okay, there we go. There we go. So nice beauty shot of the Batmobile there. Gotta love that. It's very nice indeed. And then, of course, we have both DVD and Blu-ray. I'm not sure why in particular I picked up the Steelbook. I think I liked it. It looked nice. I think actually this was an HMV exclusive, if I remember correctly, at least here in Canada. And it was one of the last things that I got from them before they went out of business. So then, about a year later, and sadly released after the passing of Adam West, we have Adam West's final official performance as Batman with Batman vs. Two-Face. There you go, with William Shatner as Two-Face. I actually still have to watch this one. And Julie Newmar back as Catwoman, of course. And on the back, there we go. He even looks a little like William Shatner, which is awesome. I think in the original series there was talk of having Two-Face in the show, and he was going to be played by Clint Eastwood, apparently. But I think his career was kind of taking off on the big screen, and he wasn't able to do it, which is unfortunate. Can you imagine Clint Eastwood as Two-Face in the 60s? That would be amazing. But instead, at least we got William Shatner. I mean, I certainly have no complaints about that. William Shatner as Two-Face. Oh, yeah, for sure. And there we go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for the Adam West Batman library. There we go. I'm just going to pull back here and we'll take a final look. And there we go. So if you want to get all things Adam West Batman, get this and that other Super Friends one, the Galactic Superpowers team. Superpowers Team Galactic Guardians, sorry. And there you go. So, yeah, it's great that Adam West remained so connected to the role, you know? I mean, he really embraced being typecast as Batman and just kind of embraced his own sort of cheesy style of humor and really just made a career out of it, you know? And it was great to see him come back to the role so many times over the years and, you know, knowing what a treat it would be for the fans and so forth. And it's great. He's definitely going to be missed. We have pretty much the entire spectrum here. I just need to pick up that one Superpowers team set, and then I'll have, I'm pretty sure, everything he ever did in character as Batman, at least as far as, you know, official stuff goes. I mean, I'm sure he donned the cape and cowl on more than one occasion outside of these appearances, but you know, as far as shows he was in and movies he did as the character, this is it. But, yeah. Anyway, that's it for now. We'll see you again next time in whatever form that takes. Lots of Batman stuff to go. We have barely begun. It is the summer of Batman. Oh, yes. We're celebrating the 80th anniversary in style, big time, not pulling any punches. It's biff, bam, zowie all the way, man. Alrighty, so I'll see you next time. Until then, big thanks to you for watching. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors. Be sure to swing by Twitch and see if I'm streaming. Chances are I will be because I'm kind of crazy that way and I just stream all the time. Who needs sleep? Sleep is for the weak. There's crime to be fought. And until next time, sayonara. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a special Batman Closer Look. Yeah. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a closer look today on the Multimedia Chronicles. So today on the Multimedia Chronicles, a closer look. Today on the Multimedia Chronicles, we're going to do a closer look. So it's a closer look today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Closer look, Multimedia Chronicles. So today, I thought we would head back to the 60s, the swinging... Greetings, everyone. Well, it's closer look time. Today, again, fuck's sake, welcome back. Now, I'm sure I'm not alone when I say that Batman. Welcome back. Now, I'm sure I'm not alone when I say that this Batman series was a Batman series with Batman in it. And I'm sure we can all agree on that. But the funny thing about the 60s Batman show is you watch it now as an adult and you just kind of enjoy it as, you know, this cheesy, campy show. I hate that word campy, but whatever. This fucking... And it's good.